Another week of The Bachelor is in the books, and the ladies are now taking the drama to Scotland. But will this finally be the week that Carolina is sent home when even her BFF turns on her? Plus, who's getting a hometown? Cause yup, it's that time already. Well, let's take a look at this preview for week 5 and find out. And if you're new to these videos, there's really only one rule here. Please, no posting any outright spoilers in the comment section below unless you can back it up with sleuthing, and a link to the full preview is in the description.
Next week.
Welcome to Edinburgh! We are in Scotland. I don't know if that's the accent, but it's fine.
Scotland epitomizes romance.
So the ladies are now in Scotland, and it feels crazy to me that we're already down to just 7 women. Like, I get that they've been cutting down the episodes the last couple of years, but literally last episode, they were still in the mansion to start the week. Now we're already at 7, they get one more trip outside the States, and then it's on to hometowns. I mean, I suppose it's possible we get a cliffhanger episode to extend it, or they do something crazy like just eliminate one person next week, but most likely, 3 are going home and we're down to our top 4. And, as I've talked about in preview breakdowns before, one of those women in the top 4 is certainly Juliana, who's finally getting a one-on-one, just in the nick of time. It'll be a big week for her considering this date seems to propel her into hometowns and beyond, so let's take a look and keep going.
It feels like I'm living in a dream.
I just feel like a princess. Like Cinderella can take a full backseat because this is like next level type of love.
So next week, Juliana is getting this Bridgerton/Cinderella fantasy date in this Scottish stately home called Hopetoun House, which you might recognize from the show Outlander, or more importantly, the princess switch switched again. But with Juliana facing off against Carolina last episode, and Grant essentially taking Juliana's side, at least enough to start reconsidering his feelings towards Carolina, it's not going to be a fun week for Carolina seeing Juliana getting the one-on-one and coming back with a rose. Cause if they're at odds and Juliana returns with essentially a ticket to hometowns, if you're Carolina, you gotta wonder what that means for you. And Carolina will be continuing her same shenanigans next week, which we'll get to, but first, we have more romance footage and the other one-on-one of the week.
Love is something that really can't be described. It's like you'll go to the ends of the earth for that person.
I feel like I can see a life with him.
You're beautiful, you're smart, you're funny, and I'm falling for you.
Okay, so here we have a very common fake out from the previews. They do this a lot in the season previews. They have the lead saying, I'm falling in love with you, or I'm falling for you or something, and then it cuts to a woman like Zoe here. But 90% of the time, the person they cut to is not actually the person they are talking with. In fact, this time we can even trace what Grant is wearing here. Not so much in that we've seen it before, but this is surely from a night portion of a one-on-one, and if Grant wears this tux with Juliana, then this must be with his second one-on-one of the week, and we know that is going to be with Latia. And Grant saying he's falling in love with Latia definitely tracks. I mean, right now, in my mind, she is the frontrunner, far and away. Like, if production made Grant pick right now at this point in the show, I'd put my money on him picking Latia. Now, that doesn't mean he won't say something similar to Zoe at some point. In fact, from past previews, we know Zoe gets a hometown. But production will often throw us these fake outs to get us wondering if the playing field is more even than it actually is, and also pull away some focus from frontrunners so the ending feels a little less obvious. Otherwise, we have kissing shots with Serafina, Dina, and Alex, who will be the real contenders for the final hometown spot, as more Carolina drama is coming, and I have to think it's finally going to be her downfall.
I'm here for love, and nothing can stop that.
Carolina is giving damsel in distress energy.
What's going on?
She takes them away and they're gone for the rest of the day.
Yeah, maybe not the best idea to sit and pout while everyone else is having fun on a date with a hometown rose possibly on the line. And we've seen this damsel in distress move multiple times from Carolina. I feel like on this show, this kind of thing can work, but only once. Like, you get one damsel in distress moment, and then after that, it becomes too much and starts to work against you. Cause in past seasons, we do see it work all the time, but you can't overplay your your hand, and even last episode we saw Grant questioning his connection with Carolina, which I have to believe will only deteriorate even further as up ahead, Carolina continues the same line about how it's hard for her to be here seeing his other connections.
I feel like you just have stronger connections and it's hard for me to be here.
It's the smallest group date that we've ever been on. Instead, she wanted it to be her date, and that's not what it was.
Today, when you decided to monopolize Grant's time,
I can't account for the weather gods.
Yeah, Dina, don't yell at Carolina, yell at the weather gods. Which has me wondering if after Grant has his sit down with Carolina, it starts to rain or something, forcing the date to end early and everyone else loses their time with Grant. Whatever it is, Carolina is again struggling being on a date with Grant's other connections, and everyone else is fed up seeing another date turn into Grant alone with a crying Carolina while they all wait around. And what's telling is that even Carolina's BFF Dina has turned on her. Like, how do we go from this last episode?
I love you. I love you. And thank you for it. Oh my god, I want to cry. I love you. Cry. I just know you didn't mean it like that. I know. And I know you know that. And thank you for seeing me. Oh my god.
To them being at odds and arguing like this from the next section of the preview.
We're absolutely done talking about this.
We're all mutually annoyed at what just keeps happening with Carolina.
you're like, I'm taking Grant and I'm
But
gone.
I did not
and
take him.
Oh my god.
I have to go.
Are you gonna go talk to Grant? Because that would be crazy.
I guess I'm crazy and evil.
And there the preview ends with crazy and evil Carolina going off to maybe talk to Grant. Again. Which could actually be what she's doing if we look at this footage from the season preview. Meanwhile, here's Zoe, who's completely removed from the villain edit she started the season with. Like, Carolina's gotta be the best thing that's happened to her, cause now she's just cruising to a hometown. But alright, everyone's against Carolina, and they've already set up last episode that Grant is having reservations about her, so I gotta imagine there's no chance she'll be getting a rose. Which to me tracks if you also consider she'd have to get a rose over Serafina, Dina, or Alex if she did get one. Because we already know 3 of the 4 women getting a hometown. From my past preview breakdowns, we've already seen Latia as well as Juliana with footage in the final filming location, and possibly even 2 dates for Juliana, meaning a fantasy suite and a final 2 date. Zoe has this shot in New York, her hometown, so we know she at least gets there, leaving 1 rose for the remaining 4 women. And we might even find out who that woman is partway through the episode if Grant hands out a rose on this group date and it's not to Zoe. But I imagine with Juliana and Latia getting roses on their one-on-ones, we'll probably see another episode where Grant declines to give out a rose on the group date to make the final rose ceremony more suspenseful. But if I had to wager, I'm not sure Grant's connection with Serafina is as strong as his ones with the others, so I'd say the last spot is either going to Dina or Alex. Alex got the first impression rose and the first date of the season, but hasn't quite had as much spotlight since. Dina, on the other hand, didn't have as much going early on, but just came off a great one-on-one. So, what do we think is more likely? Grant going with his connection from earlier on in the season, or the one that's fresher in his mind, or, you know, he throws a wrench in the whole season and picks Carolina, plunging the season into chaos, which, knowing this franchise, is sadly a possibility. So that's it for this preview breakdown for week 5 of The Bachelor. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, comment your thoughts and theories down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content. And until next time, Bachelor Fantake out.
Today, when you decided to monopolize Grant's time,
I can't account for the weather gods.
We're absolutely done talking about this.